So I'm going to go now to Stephen Reid. Stephen, are you here? Welcome.
Hello, yes, I am. Sorry, I was trying to find mute and video.
No problem.
Hello,
Welcome
Indonesia.
to Indonesia. And I read your profile, and you have a fantastic experience profile. I'd love to talk a little bit about what are the jobs related to it. But before I come to that, I've seen that you travel a lot, 70 countries on 5 continents. I bet in the last 1 year that has taken a big hit. So you must be doing a lot of work on Zoom or on other digital platforms or Teams, I would
Yeah,
say, Microsoft Teams.
absolutely. So yeah, I mean, because the schools, I work in education, and so schools have really struggled to or had to find new ways of connecting with their students. And so most of our work has been, I mean, I work for Microsoft, so most of my work is in Teams, but I've
Yeah,
also taken calls around the world on Zoom and Google Meet and all sorts. So yeah.
fantastic. So, Stephen, one of the things that young people have on their minds is they don't want to be doing the jobs their parents are doing. Many people, parents are in government service or they go into bureaucracy or they get to become engineers, doctors, lawyers. That's the
Mm-hmm.
old way of thinking. And suddenly the world has opened up. And there are jobs which people like you are doing, which is, I think, on the wish list of any young kid who wants to, be involved in technology, travel, talk to people. Can you talk through us through a little bit about what are the kind of jobs that are, you are exposed to, which you would like to tell the youth about, that they should start thinking because they'll have to do a different kind of preparation for that.
Well, I mean, what I'd like to do is take you back to my school and my career conversations with my teachers. I mean, I got brought in, I went to school in Scotland, and you got to a certain age where the teachers would bring you in, a guidance teacher would bring you in and say, so, what is it you want to do when you leave school?
Yeah.
And the idea, as with all of around the world, was that they were trying to fit me to a job. They said you should go work in a bank, or you should go and work in a call center, or you should go and whatever. There was all sorts of like regular jobs. Now,
Yeah.
many of those jobs are still needed, and I think we have to be careful about saying that we don't need people to work in banks anymore. We do, but the way I look at it was I couldn't have said, can you imagine if I'd said to my teacher back then, I want to make Minecraft worlds for children to learn in, and then I want to travel around the world and take those Minecraft worlds to schools? My teacher would have had no idea what I was talking about. It would have been like, what are you talking about? And so the wonderful thing I would say to the students that are listening is none of us know what tomorrow looks like. Nobody knows what careers of, we can, I know that we've had that wonderful presentation saying, we're going to need data analysts and we're going to need shoutcasters and we're going to need, web developers and we're going to need coders and stuff. And we are lots of those. But nobody, when I was at school, could have told me that I would be using games to teach in classrooms. And I think the same is true for another 50 years. In another 50 years, we don't really know what those jobs look like. And so my advice to the students is do what you enjoy and make it purposeful. I grew up with games, I grew up gaming, and I decided I wanted to use games to teach. And I was one of the first people in the world to kind of do that from a digital perspective. Do what you enjoy and look for the alternatives. Always look at what you're absolutely right. When they say, we want you to go to university, or we want you to take this job, or you should be going and working in this field, think about the alternatives. Think about what you want to do.
So, Stephen, you brought up a very good point. Minecraft is very popular here. And I heard also that, you have girls and boys both who like Minecraft. In fact, my own kids, both my daughter, she's very good at it. The question here is, using this kind of a gaming environment is a very different way of learning, right?
Yeah.
And I think people enjoy, and you saw that AI game that we just played, and that's just a technical game, but there are so many other games that are there out there. So, that's an industry by itself to develop gaming applications for training, for education. That's an industry by itself, not just as a user of or a recipient, but as somebody who works in that industry.
Oh, completely. Completely. It's becoming, in fact, games in general, the gaming industry globally has outstripped the movie industry and the music industry combined in terms of its generation of GDP for countries worldwide, even small countries like in Scotland, Scotland is the home of Grand Theft Auto, which I don't recommend children play because it's 18 and over 18. But that game alone is worth billions and billions and billions of dollars, and it was produced in one of the smallest countries in the world. And so what we need to think about is, if this industry is so big, this is likely to be where many of our children find themselves going. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean as gamers, because the gamers are, of course, who we sell the games to. But beyond that, there are website developers, technical advisors, there are people that manage the buildings, there are insurers. There's all sorts of amazing roles that are vast, and they all link into this one space, which is the gaming industry. And so the gaming industry is huge. And then on top of that is esports. Esports is just growing at a huge rate. And actually, esports is one of those fields where huge numbers of children are drawn for the competitive play, and then they end up working in that industry. They end up being game developers, or they end up being game testers, or they end up, doing live streams and things like that. And so there's lots and lots of, in fact, I'm going to talk about that more in my presentation.
Do you have any advice for, a kid sitting in a small town or a small village? Can he easily jump onto the bandwagon here? Because you can work from anywhere, I believe. Right?
Absolutely. So that's one of the easiest fields to get into, is game making. Now, that's not to say that it's easy to succeed, but it's easy to get into. Children can pick up a huge variety of different coding kits that are available. If they want to start, with really basics, you can start with things like Scratch. You can also start with Minecraft, which I'm going to show as part of my presentation, coding in Minecraft directly. And you can make whole games in Minecraft. There's also game making platforms that allow you to get started easily, like Roblox, for example. But also, you can take it even further. Once you've learned those basics, you can start coding with little microbits, or you can go and do something like Unity or the Epic Games code, which is where Fortnite is made, for example, which is one of the more popular games. And then what they do is, from there, they can start to think, well, if I can make this, if I can do this, I can do that. I can make this. I make my own game. I'll make a platform game, or I'll make a 3D shooter, or I'll make a treasure hunt game. And then those games, there's huge markets for people to test their games, play their games, sell their games, and before you know it, you're in the industry. You're a game maker. And there's a big movement called indie games, which is independent games. You don't have to belong to Ubisoft or even Microsoft. You can do this from your bedroom on one device. And just to give you an example of where that's been most successful, that's where Minecraft came from. Minecraft was made by a chap who had never made a game before. He'd never coded before. And Minecraft was his way of learning. And now it's the single biggest computer game of all time.
A couple of words that you used really intrigued me. Are you here, Stephen?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Yes. And particularly want to see your presentation, because, I feel we are on to something here. One of the opening statements I made earlier today, when we started this youth forum was, a young kid who may be the son of a farmer or a fisherman in a village doesn't need to become a better fisherman and a better farmer. He can actually completely change what he does. And that's
Absolutely.
the opportunity the digital world gives with Industry 4.0, and the opportunities completely open up. Now, it's all about giving access to this kind of education and opportunities to that person in a remote area, right? And the various challenges, I completely understand, but challenges can be overcome if you identify what the challenges are. And I think it's more important for the young people to know where can they go. And that conversation you had with your teacher, which you referred to in the beginning, was that the person would never even imagine what you're doing today, right? And that's exactly the same thing repeating itself. It's a cycle. So I'd love to see your presentation, Stephen.
Sure. Just before I go into the presentation, though, to give you an idea of what's possible, we built a school in a very poor, remote part of South Africa using a single 3D printer and a single device. And everyone was like, how did you build a school with a 3D printer? Because they think we printed the blocks. But actually, what we did was we taught the children to make things in Minecraft. Toys. We taught them to design toys in Minecraft, big teddy bears, big, action figures, all that, spinning tops, all kinds of things. And then what we did was we 3D printed those objects from Minecraft. We painted them and then we sold them. And with the money, we bought bricks, and with the bricks, we built a school. And so one device and one 3D printer in a completely remote area of South Africa, and we managed to create an entire school and learning system. Physically and sort of theoretically, we created this entire school system using just that. So the power of technology to do something like that is incredible, no matter where you live. And the other thing is, I want to say to the people listening, and particularly the students listening, is that you're now on a world stage. When I went to school, it was largely considered that you would work in Scotland, or, and French people would work in France, and they would even work in the region of France. Whereas now you can work anywhere in the world. You can, Indonesian children are competing with Russian children, are competing with Scottish children, are competing with Argentinian children. The rest of the world is your oyster. And you might be competing, but you're also collaborating. You're also connecting. You're also working with those people. So you can work anywhere in the world, no matter where you are in Indonesia. And that's the beauty of technology. Let me just share my screen, and I'll just show you some of the things that we've done with children. And why Minecraft is such a powerful tool for this stuff. So we're using, let me know when you can see my screen. I think you can, yeah. So we're using Minecraft Education Edition, but you can use lots of different versions of Minecraft. And one of the first things I'd like to show you is, well, actually, I spoke about 3D printing. Let me just show you what that looks like. We literally made 3D printers inside Minecraft. These are digital 3D printers that you can build in. So I'll just head inside. They don't actually work, so they don't print something. You still need a real 3D printer. But if you head inside here and you build on the printing plate, which I'm just going to do, there we are. And then I'll just build, it doesn't really matter what, but if I just build a giant eye for Indonesia, there we are. There we go. And then we head over to this print plate. You'll see that eye has now become available to print. And all you do is you click the export button and you take it to the 3D printer. So now we can create physical objects. So this is great for careers like manufacturing. We can have our children create prototypes of things, just models and prototypes and ideas inside Minecraft. And then they can 3D print those objects, and they become physical objects. And actually, if I just take you to, I'm going to take you to a world, and then I'm going to show you a 3D print via the camera. I'm going to take you to our Pompeii world, which is a world in which we can learn and teach history, maths, science, everything you want. So let me just show you what that looks like. It's basically a giant toy box that's been opened up, and inside that toy box, Pompeii has come out. And we have ancient Egypt and we have Vikings, but this one happens to be Pompeii. And when we head inside this box, we have, let me see, is the screen? Oh, it's very jumpy, isn't it? It's very jumpy.
But it's okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be, it might not help that I have my camera on. I'll switch my camera off just to see if that makes a difference. Where's the controls? You are screen sharing, stop video. We'll see if that makes a difference. So once you're in here, you can do geography with the volcanoes. You can do history with the schools and the religious areas and the olive groves. There's languages training. There's engineering if we look at things like aqueducts. There's mathematics with things like farming, which is down here, and there's even a gladiatorial arena. But one of the things that we have built inside here, if we head over to this area, is we have a theater, a Roman theater, where the children are able to do, actual, plays, and they can write their own plays, and they can produce, and they can actually act them out in Minecraft. But here's the thing: if I press escape and just stop sharing my screen, I'm going to stop sharing. So I'll go back to my camera. I'll show you something. This, I don't know if you can see. I'm going to switch my camera back on. But this is that theatre, whoops, I'll put it over here. That is that theatre 3D printed. So we took it's kind of bad in this light, but we took the theatre and then we 3D printed it. This side is painted and the other side is not painted. And then this is what you can end up with. So you can end up with these lovely little manufactured things. And it's that kind of stuff that leads children to think, oh, I've got an idea. I need to fix a little lock for my door, or I need to make a box to keep things in, or I need to. And suddenly they're thinking about manufacturing as a problem solve, a solution to problems that they have. And Minecraft is one of the gateways, and there's lots of other softwares, but Minecraft is one of the gateways to doing that. I'm going to finish because I want to keep the demo short, and I know we're all stuck for time. So I'm going to finish on one more. Let me just share my screen. Minecraft share. There we are. If I just save and exit that, I just want to show the coding aspect. So one of the things we can do is we can go into, I built a world called Carnival of Code. And coding is one of the critical skills for the next at least 10, if not 30 years. The ability, people often say, but artificial intelligence is just going to take everyone's jobs. But someone needs to code the artificial intelligence. Like, we need coders to make those things happen. You know, if we want advanced machines, someone's going to have to make those advanced machines. So in this world, we basically have a carnival which teaches children how to code. And then they have this big space. And in Minecraft, we can just literally click the C button. And that brings up different types of code. And I'm just going to click on this one. And then I'm going to go and start a new project. And I'm going to call that project Indonesia and click create. And then what that allows my children to do is to code directly into Minecraft and learn either JavaScript or Python. If I go to JavaScript, you'll see that's what it looks like there, or Python, as well as block code. And so what I'll do is I'll just create a piece of code for us. I'm going to say on player walk, which means when my player is walking, I want to place a colored block, like, say, yellow concrete, beneath my feet. Now, children watching this who play Minecraft will know exactly what I'm doing. They're like, I know what he's doing. And when I press play, what that means is everywhere I walk now, I draw yellow with my feet. So now I can draw things. So I'm just going to draw a smiley face and see if it works. I don't know if it is going to work, but I'll put an eye here. And then I'll put an eye here.
Okay.
And then I'll put a nose here. There we are. Well, that's not the best smiley face I've ever seen, but it works. So the idea is that with just, and if we go and look at what that looks like in Python, it's literally a few lines of code. And JavaScript is the same. It's just a few lines of code. So what we can do with Minecraft is if children are thinking, oh, all those jobs that were mentioned earlier by the AWS, the team at AWS, they are saying that coding is going to be one of the critical skills. Minecraft is one of the easy ways to learn JavaScript and Python for a huge number of careers. And just to give you, I'm going to share one more thing with you before I finish. Let me just move to, it's a different share, you see, so I need to stop sharing and then I'll do a new share. And that is the following. That is this is an esports guide that we've made for students. But if I go to section 1.3 and show you esports as culture, this goes back to that conversation we were saying earlier. In the middle of this example here, we see that the middle is players. So lots of teachers that are working with students just now will say, oh, kids, they just play games. Well, they do. But surrounding those games are coaches, theory crafters, analysts, general managers, IT support, marketing people, corporate sponsorships, business developers, even journalists. There are so many jobs. And then if you break these jobs down, software development could mean 10 different things, shoutcasters, 5 different things, analysts, 12 different things. And so there are literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of jobs that are available for children in the gaming space. So I would highly recommend that not just students, but teachers, parents, and the governments of the world really start paying attention to where these careers are in the gaming space.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much for your time.
That is fantastic. You know, You just gave me an idea, and I got to talk to Obert about that. Maybe we should really be building an engagement using Minecraft, and I think the ministry would be very keen on something like that. The real challenge in Indonesia is always trying to pick which part of the country do you go to. And if you were to
Yeah,
look at the country as a pyramid, the first tendency is to go to the affluent schools or the schools which are already in big cities. But the real
yeah,
demand is actually from the remote areas. The underserved part of the market is the one who's hungry for these kind of things.
absolutely. Yeah,
So that's something our company actually, Orbit Future Academy, in fact, the CEO of that is here today, Nalin. We actually are looking at how access can be given to people who actually don't have access but are more interested. Therefore, creating a different kind of a grassroots movement into learning new skills. And we will work with the local governments there to try and bring these kind of methodologies and learnings, and work with, of course, the Ministry of Education, etc. But flip the choice of priority, not go only to
absolutely.
the schools that where those kids actually have lots of other options anyway. They may be from affluent families, they may be from already having a path ahead of them. How about we turn the model upside down and go to the places where we don't want kids to continue to just be farmers, but to upgrade their level. Of course, we still need farmers. I agree with what you're saying. I'm not saying that we don't need farmers, but you actually are giving people a choice to be smarter farmers, use technology.
Yep.
And there's so many ways that this can play out in the next 10 to 20 years. I feel that we should do something in countries like Indonesia where there is a real opportunity. I see this as an opportunity more than as a challenge.
Well, count me in. I would love to, myself and Microsoft would love to support you in that. So let's build something in Minecraft that reaches those communities. And let's do the project with the 3D printing. Let's build a school somewhere in Indonesia by doing that project. Let's do it.
Fantastic idea. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Wonderful.
It's been a real pleasure. And I look forward to interacting more with you. And I think we can do many things here. And thank you so much. Really appreciate your time and a fantastic presentation at that.
Thank you. Have a great session. Thanks, everyone. Bye.